Khan. And I'll go down to verse 9 because there's more. And verse 7. And there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
Right. And the dragon represents this world once again, this Roman Empire, the last leg of the Roman Empire, to be exact. Go on.
And the dragon fought against his angels and prevailed not.
And the dragon fought against his angels, which represents the jet fighter planes that they're going to use. And, as well as they may have, ultra technology in the eyes of men, but it's not going to be ultra enough to destroy the technology coming from the angels of the Lord. Because it says that they prevailed not. Go on, brother.
And prevailed not.
Yep.
Neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Yes. Yep.
And that great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan.
In other words, this white man was taken out, even his world. So that's what's coming up next, man. That's why the chariots, as what we're seeing from time to time, seems like every other day now, because what's getting ready to come down is what we just read here, is that Esau's world is going to be taken from off his hands, and we're going to reign supreme forever and ever. That's what's next on the list. So as well as Esau's trying to do, as much as they're trying to do to oppress us as a people by using the media and other mechanisms and other techniques, it's not going to work.
Yep.
It was already written that we was going to win anyway. We was going to lose for a particular point in time, in this particular point in time, because we are getting our ass whooped economically and overall as a people, but eventually we're going to win at the very end. And that's exactly what's already been written. It's already, like the saying goes, the writing is on the wall, which that term goes back to the book of Daniel, chapter 4.
Mini.
To count.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're found wanting.
Come on.
There's a little bit more in this though.
Go on.
It says, and that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
Which deceiveth the whole world. And what did this beast deceive the whole world with? More I would say white supremacy.
Yep.
They've taken our art, they've taken the image of who the world calls Jesus Christ and turned him into a so-called white man, and that's how they were morally to deceive the world, so that they can then show themselves as the image of divinity, and they came with their own philosophies not behind it, but under that God. Such as you have things such as evolution, which goes back to what's the dude's name, man?
Charles Darwin.
Right. That's where you get the term Darwinism too. So they have deceived the world with their philosophies and their doctrines, under the guise of them being the image of divinity. Also, but that image of divinity that they've formulated, which is fake, has been revealed. And it's been revealed by us, the prophets. So now everybody knows the truth. And everybody can understand and see, even including the devil themselves. They can see and understand that, the Lord was a man of color. That's public knowledge now. That's not even like secret. Like when you tell a person, the Lord was a so-called black man, people are not so bugged out as they once were. Now you do have people that if you tell them that,
they'll argue, want to fight.
Or they want to debate you on that because they don't want to really tell you that that's the truth, but it is the truth. But everybody knows that anyway. Go on, brother.
It's lucky. I was just going to add that another way that Esau has deceived the world is with the currency system.
Yes.
We have what's called fiat currency, which isn't backed by anything anymore, whereas in the past it used to be backed by a standard such as gold or silver. And that's been instrumental in leading towards Esau being able to make people believe that ones and zeros on a computer are money.
Yeah.
And that all ties into the eventual propagation of the mark of the beast. So Esau is deceived on all fronts. I mean, there's no truth in this man on any front.
Come on.
He goes throughout history saying that he's the Egyptians. Makes these films showing that, he's all up in Egypt. He's everybody in history except the Edomites. Don't make no sense, man.
Come on. And that's a good way of putting it, because, like, for example, down here in the UK, we have the currency such as the pound. But that's a measurement. So I mean, how can you have a fiat currency which is made out of plastic and call it a pound? Does it weigh a pound? It doesn't weigh a pound. It's just that you believe in, going back to what you were saying, because that by you seeing all of these numbers on your your on the computer, the bank computer, it only takes you to believe it that that's how much money you have. That's why they call it credits. The word credit simply means belief.
Okay.
So if you look at your £5 note and you think that it's actual money, based on you believing in that, values the currency. You know, so you can look into that as well. I have to go back and recap on that more further though. But that's what it goes. But the word credit goes back to the word incredible, which means believable.
Okay.
The word incredible means unbelievable, and the word credit means belief.
Okay.
Basically. So it really takes you to believe as to what you see on the on your bank account, and as well as what's on your note, okay, your pound or the dollar. Go on, brother.
Can I read this quick little article of Russia? Just briefly. It says, U.S. says it will not rejoin Open Skies Treaty with Russia. Before it blocks it off, it's going to give me a little bit here. U.S. says it will not rejoin Open Skies Treaty with Russia. The 30-year-old agreement was put in place to ensure that Russia and the United States could monitor each other's military. So they're not going to. That treaty is out of the window. So this is all of the Most High. Everything's of the Most High anyway.
Come on.
Setting the stage.
Oh yeah.
For them to become, because they're supposed to be they're supposed to be what they call it. Russia at the moment is supposed to be their allies.
Yeah.
So he's going to turn that slowly
Yeah.
because
and you know what too, at one time or another, America was cool with Russia years ago.
Right.
But you see again, like what you just said and what we spoke about, the Lord is in control of everything, man. So I mean, as much treaties that they've tried to pass between one another, it's not gonna work. The whole concept of bringing peace, see, peace will come on the earth, but the time of peace is gonna come
Right.
when the kingdom of heaven is set up. This is not the earth which will be established by peace.
Right.
Because this world is wicked as all hell, and because we're in this world and because we're under certain leaders and governments, this particular leader that we're under and this government that we're under has broken every law in the scriptures. So what's the recompense to breaking all of the laws of the scriptures? This world would have to go by judgment, like you said, brother.
Yeah.
And the judgment would have to be simply destruction.
Yeah.
So peace is not going to be situated on this earth.
Yeah.
Peace is going to be situated in the kingdom. Okay?
It says, it's like a little bit on this is another little article. It says, for Biden's Europe trip achieved 2 major goals. Then
what you
about, he's making a trip. Yeah.
Again. There's a time of peace and the time. Yep. Yeah, what you say out?
Biden Europe trip achieved 2 major goals. Then there is a Russian president. It's like where is it? America is back and railed them to begin. Oh, they're going to block it. They're blocking it now. Let me just read this one, quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Joe Biden, Vlad, U.S., Russia submit his little time for big agenda. I just tapped in Russia or America versus Russia, and you get all these articles of Joe Biden visiting Russia.
Okay.
Something's going on, man. You know.
Go on. Back to Ecclesiastes 3.
Yeah, going on.
From the top again. To everything there is a season and a time. To every purpose under the heaven.
Yeah.
A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Go on.
So lucky that reminds me, if I may.
Yeah, go on.
The parable of the wheat and the tares. You know, talking about plucking them up.
Yeah.
Lord said, let them both grow together.
Yes.
And at the end they'll be harvested, and He's going to separate the wheat from the tares.
Right.
That ties back to Ecclesiastes 3. It says, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Yeah, but I want you to get the verse where it says a time of peace and a time of war.
All right, let me keep going. It says, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, and a time to embrace and a time to embrace refrain from embracing. Oh, jump down to verse 8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time of peace.
Yeah, so right now, the time that we're living in, especially in this world, there lies a time of war rather than the time of peace. The time of peace is going to come, as I've explained, in the kingdom of heaven for the children of Israel. That's when the time of peace will be, but not right now. So no matter how many times they come together and so-called calling themselves making pact, treaties, so-called, all of that shit, it's not going to work because the Lord don't want that. The Lord wants this place to go down the way it's going to go down as it is written according to, as what we were just reading. Many verses that we've just read, scripture, excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, so go on, Doc. Go back to There's an article. There's another article, by the way, that I want you to read.
Right, shall I move on to the new one?
Yeah.
Or finish the old one?
Now, you know, you've read it. You've read what you needed to read on that.
Okay, so let me get the new article.
Right.
So this one, it says, just putting it up. And it reads, why have there been so many UFO sightings near nuclear facilities? It says, it started in the night...
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, get them things saying you can see, yeah. It started in the 1940s near an A-bomb development sites. More recently, something has been stalking nuclear carrier strike groups. Why are so many UFOs being reported near nuclear facilities, and why isn't there more urgency on the part of the government to assess their potential national security threat?
Come on.
But this is the thing, they don't realize that there is urgency, but they're just not showing it to the public.
Yes.
So it says, those are the questions being asked by a team of high-ranking former US defense and intelligence officials, aerospace industry veterans, academics, and others associated with the STARS Academies of Arts and Science. The team has been investigating a wide range of these sightings and advocating more serious government attention.
Come on.
Their investigations are the subject of history's limited series Unidentified. Throughout history, unexplained aerial phenomenon UAPs have shocked, frightened, and fascinated sky watchers. And in the last century, more than a few have been reported in military contexts. In late World War II, US airmen called them Foo Fighters.
But check this out, right? Like you just read, it's as the article says, it shocked and frightened certain parts of the world, right? As the scripture says, be not dismayed of the things that the heathen are dismayed of. Isaiah, what is it, chapter 10?
Jeremiah.
10. Yeah.
Jeremiah chapter 10.
Yeah.
Salakia, the water. So when we see the chariots just hovering around, that scares people, even just that in itself. So just imagine when we're literally beamed up in those chariots. What would be the reaction from the people then? And what's going to be the reaction of the people when those same men that were beamed up and came back down on the earth? That's how you know we're going to ultimately get that respect back as the children of the Most High, because people are going to see how we were saved, and as well as people are going to also see us descending down on the earth. You see? And simultaneously, the missiles are going to drop ground zero on the earth. As it says in the book of 1 Peter, the 4th chapter, it says that the righteous shall scarcely be saved. So we're going to be saved of what, you know, as an analogy you have, what is it, the skin of your teeth.
Yes. There was a precept, if I may. I was pulling this out yesterday, if I can remember where it is. Bear with me. About how...
And you know,
Yes.
we don't really know exactly how the Lord is going to deliver us, man. We don't really know. But what we do know and we have an idea of is that there will be miracles, man. And you could be down here on the earth, and you know what I'm thinking, right? Let's say the missiles are coming down. The Most High can actually slow the missiles down and beam you up.
Yes. Freeze time.
Yeah.
Like Matrix style.
Exactly, yeah. And just instantly beam you up. You know?
And this is beautiful because the precept I want to bring out is Psalms 91 and 8. It says, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked.
Yeah.
So as the elder said, we could see the nukes coming and be like, shit, this is the end. We're getting beamed up. And as we're getting beamed up, we're seeing those people standing there looking in the nuke, seeing us getting beamed up. We're in the chariot now, Lord willing, on a sea of glass, and we're going to see their asses getting burnt.
Yeah, I mean, because during that time, when that time appears, when that time comes around, it's going to be nothing more than miracles, man. It's going to be nothing more than miracles that you've never seen before, that you've never experienced in your life. We're going to see and experience things that we've never even thought we could actually ever see in our life, man. That's how it's going to go down. So, like I said, you may be down here, and the missile may just be right down there, going down on the floor, right?
Yeah,
real
just
slowly,
about to blow.
Just about to hit the ground, and the Lord just beams you up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shit like that.
And if I may, so like one thing, sometimes you see the compilation videos that they show of different camps of brothers in GMS around the world seeing chariots, and they're praising. In Revelation it says we're going to be praising the Most High.
Yeah.
At that time, you can just imagine how it's going to be. Because if brothers are getting all hyped when we see chariots in the distance, when they're flipping flying low, so lucky I remember now, I had a dream of the chariots and they were low over the earth, like at the height of the top of the tree, and they were all tilted and stuff, and you could just see them all around. It was a beautiful dream. But when we're seeing them, like, how much more are we going to be praising the Most High? It's going to be, Lord willing, if we're saved, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 5, man. 2 says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
Exactly. When they see it, they shall be what?
Troubled
with terrible fear.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they looked for.
So these nations, they're going to be severely, emotionally distraught when they see the chariots, man. They're not going to know how to deal with themselves emotionally. And a lot of people, I believe, they might even drop dead.
Men's hearts failing them for fear.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so, hey, man, I mean, it's going to be crazy out here. Because, see, people have been taught to believe that there's just us that exists, but there's no other entities. There's no other realms. There's nothing. It's just this particular realm. You know?
Yeah.
That's what people are unaware of, because people were taught to just be one-dimensional and just look at the carnal aspect of life rather than looking at the other aspects of life. Because there's many different meanings to life. There's more to life than just looking at a chick and wanting to lay down with her and have children and start a family. There's way more to life than that. That's just one out of many aspects of life. But life is far beyond. I mean, just this whole idea of us being here and how nature operates. And we're going to find out the fullness when the Heavenly Father, you know, builds us up and changes us. We're going to see what life is really all about.
Yeah.
Because we don't really know what life is all about, really know reality. We just know certain aspects of it.
If I may add to what you're saying, there's another thing as well. It's, for us, we're going to be expecting this because we're expecting Yahweh Shai to return. But for people in the world who aren't in this truth, it's going to be such a traumatic thing. It's going to break their whole world down.
Yes.
Like everything they held fast to and true.
And believed.
Yeah, it's all going to crumble. So they've got, like, it's like the reality is going to be shifted.
Yes.
And some people just aren't going to be able to deal with that psychologically. They're going to break.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be like they're going to bug out, man.
Yeah. And just to deal with what you just said about the reality shifting. Well, I wouldn't even use that term. I would say this: people's reality is going to break to another reality. Another reality is going to hit them smack in the face, and they're not going to know what the fuck hit them. I think, like the saying goes, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yes.
So
like it
go on.
But the word is, I think for that it's called a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, like everything just breaking down.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a glitch in the matrix, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's the better way of putting it. So yeah, people's reality is, like the brother just said, is going to totally shift to another reality. Because think about it, a lot of us were born and raised, and our minds were framed a certain way to think a certain way according to the dimension that we're in right now. But like I said, people are going to see that there's something else rather than what they never thought they could see. You know, and that's what we're coming into. We're coming into a world where anything's possible. What they told you was impossible is going to be possible. And remember, like I was talking about the whole idea of the poor man being raised up, which the poor man represents us. A lot of people in this world, they're used to seeing, and I'm talking about mainly so-called white people, and these other nations, they're comfortable with seeing so-called black people down and out. That's just a normal thing. It's not, you know, that's just the way of life.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be at the bottom, and they're supposed to be at the top, you know? But again, there's going to be another reality, and the reality of the matter is that, which is forth to come, is that we're going to be exalted, and it's going to be the norm for them to be abased. It's going to be the norm for them to struggle and to be oppressed.
It's going to be a beautiful thing to see, man.
Yeah.
These flipping Edomites, especially these Edomite women that be running around the world, taking like 3-4 holidays a year. I see them. Don't think I don't see them. They're running around. They don't keep at home. They, you know, this is their time. They're going to do that. But the point is that when the hardship comes, again, paradigm shift. They ain't going to be able to deal with it, because when Esau catches hell on this side, he's the first one to fucking want to jump out a window or hang himself. Nah, man.
And people, and as the scripture says, people are going to marvel at the fall of Esau, because people, again, have been used to seeing Esau with the turkey neck, with the suit and tie, calling the shots, posing themselves on TV, and, you know, talking like they have all of the answers. And that's not going to always be the case. These suit and tie wearing motherfuckers, they're going to be the ones that's going to be down and out and you know, they're going to have a totally different look to them. You see, so what people have been used to is not going to be so anymore. That's why you can't underestimate the little man. You can't underestimate nobody, because the same person you think you're underestimating, that you think that will never amount to anything, can't amount to something.
Mm.
And fuck your whole world up.
Yeah, I got a precept. This says, Isaiah 14 from verse 12, a few verses. How art thou fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Yeah.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nations?
Yeah.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars.
Yeah, like this
Most
whole
High.
idea of Jeff Bezos and his crew, the $1 Billion Boys Club. They're looking to go above and beyond outer space to a different planet or somewhere. Shit like that. So that's them exalting themselves above all that which is called the Most High. When they set up their space stations and they set up their little tall towers, that's them saying that we're better and above everything that the Most High created. We're above the Most High, by the way. And we're the ones that's doing what we want to do.
But
Go on, brother.
It says, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Come on.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds,
Yeah.
like you just said, the skyscrapers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I will be like the Most
And
High.
I will be like the Most High. Again, that's where the Great Reset comes in. What they call, they used to call it the New World Order, but it's another word now. It's called the Great Reset. And within this Great Reset, they want to have us under some form of technology. And with that being the case, they can control us.
yeah,
And once they can control us, and then at the same time, not only will they be able to control us, but they'll be able to get access to a lot of our data that makes up who we are. And they'll be able to also predict what we're going to do before we even do it. That's the level that Esau's on. That's the level that they want to be on, excuse me. But the Most High is not going to let them get so far, because that's not what's written. It's not written that the Lord is going to make these people gods. As it is written that we are gods, but we shall die like men. But guess what? We're going to be made gods again. Like what the Apostle Paul spoke about of the nation of Israel, about our change. That we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. So that godlike status that Esau's yearning for, we're going to get that for free. We're not going to have to lift a pinky finger or do any kind of work to get that. We just going to get it. Once the Most High, we going to be changed.
Because that's our inheritance and our
Yeah.
blessing. And Esau's there trying to get the birthright and the blessing back. But guess what? It ain't for you, Esau.
yeah,
It's not for them to be gods of the earth. It was only for them to be in power with the little technology that the Lord gave them. Because Esau thinks that the world is theirs because of the great technology they got. And don't get me wrong, Esau's kicking ass with this technology. Esau's, man, I mean, this guy, and you know me, I'm into cars. Right? And Esau got the fundage to make these beautiful cars, and Jake ain't got no shit like that. Jake can't come close to what Esau can do.
them cars are nice, man.
And them cars, like you said, brother, them cars are way out there.
Yeah.
Nice cars.
Yeah, fucking when
You know?
if I could just say, because I was into cars big time, and I like driving fast, but you got fast and rough and rugged and getting out of control. Then you got fast, where it's comfortable, it's sitting down on the road.
Yeah.
Like some people like their Rolls Royces, some people like their Porsches. But I've been in a car before where I've been racing, and I used to like racing, and I'm in control, but I'm going fast. You know, some of these now it's
what you're talking about.
a Renault 5 GT Turbo. A turbo is when you kick it in and you go fast and it's smooth. Yeah, them days in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s, Renault 5 GT Turbo was like something, you know,
I know what you're talking
really
about.
nice.
The Renault 5, yeah.
So it's technology, and
little small car. Innit?
yeah,
I know
Renault
what you're
5 GT Turbo, or you know, them kind of nice little hot hatches they call them.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the technology. I saw a little glimpse of the trailer of Men in Black. That woman Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, right? The two actors, the men and women, but you know, that's an agenda there. But when I saw you mentioned that the gift that we got, the black so-called aliens, angels, I was in that movie. That movie just when you saw what they can do in their, which they understand that the angels are black, and their technology was all the tech and the guns, they can get guns from many different places.
Yeah.
But their tech was high too.
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
angels, that was all of it was manipulating the elements, man. I ain't watched the whole movie yet, but I want to find a way where I can watch the whole movie, because that's my kind of movie, man. The gifts of the angels, or the gift that we're gonna have, is gonna be
astronomical. It's gonna be. It's gonna be great beyond comprehension, because see where we're from right now, because we're in the base level. So when we see Esau's technology, it's like, wow, look what he did.
Yeah.
Yo, look at that car. That's a nice car, bro. Like, yo, like the way the car looks, it shines, and everything. I mean, and he's got TVs in certain cars. For example, you look at the Maybach and certain, like Mercedes-Benz cars.
Escalades and all that.
Escalades, you know about the Escalade, right? Yeah, those were my favorite trucks back in the day when I was in the States. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, we look at these cars and we're like, whoa, like marveled. But the technology that we're gonna get, oh God, you ain't seen, man. You ain't, and Jake, man. When anything that Jake do, when they get into it, they get into it, man. Trust me. So, man, I'm telling you, man, the cars in the kingdom, if there will ever be cars in the kingdom, they're gonna be flying. Because Esau, they got the technology, but they can't even amount to actually creating cars that can actually fly.
Yeah.
And they've been, and the thing with these Edomites, they've been worrying about that for some time. They've been pondering about the idea that maybe one day we can come up with a bunch of cars that can start flying. But they're not gonna never amount to that.
No.
Because I mean, if they were gonna amount to that, they would have already did it a long time ago.
That's right.
But they haven't did it.
That reminds me of that film Back to the Future 2, when they were showing the future. They showed, flying DeLorean, flying cars. That's Esau's fantasy. He can't make it a reality.
Yeah.
But in the kingdom, that's going to be nothing to us.
That's going to be our reality. He's going to be flying.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That was every year we used to watch that. That was their fantasy, where the Chitty Chitty Bang, it could talk. It was alive. It had like a
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and it was able to fly. At the end, it actually drove past the water, drove into the sea, and went above the sea and flied away. Mm-hmm. So that's their dream. That's what they would like to accomplish. They ain't going to be able to.
I've got this precept here to finish off. It says, Isaiah 14, I was reading again, and he says, I will ascend to the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High, yet shall thou be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, and they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that did make the earth to tremble, and did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and that opened not the houses of his prisoners, and the kings.
So I mean, Esau, as you see Esau right now,
talking about flying, isn't it?
They got the little space stations, their space retreats, and they got the technology that they got. They're able to create beautiful cars that we've ever seen. Yeah. But they're gonna go from where they're at right now to nothing, and they're gonna be so dreadful and terrible looking that we're gonna have to force and teach our people that these people once were somebody. Yeah. Teach the world for that matter. But yet and still they may not even believe it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we tell the world that we did this in A, B, and C back in the past, people don't believe it. Because for so long people have been used to and have been conditioned to seeing us at a base level. Oh, blacks can never amount to anything. Blase, blase, blase. So that's what people are used to seeing. Right? But at the same time, the same thing is gonna happen to them. In our world, we're going to have to teach the world that these Edomites were somebody. You know?
Shall I go back to the article?
You go back to that. Come on.
So it says, reading on. Yeah, throughout history, unexplained aerial phenomenon, UAPs, have shocked and frightened and fascinated sky watchers. Yeah. And in the last century, more than a few have been reported in military contexts. In late World War II, US airmen called them Foo Fighters.
Right.
And that's interesting because I know there's that band called the Foo Fighters, but I never knew that's why they were called that. Strange orange flying lights by the French-German border during the Korean War. Some soldiers claim that a blue and green light emitting pulsing rays made their whole battalion sick. Yeah. With what some said resembled radiation poisoning. Less known is that in the last 75 years, high-ranking US military and intelligence personnel have also reported UAPs near sites associated with nuclear power, weaponry and technology, from the early atomic bomb development and test sites to active nuclear naval fleets. So
Yeah.
it says...
No, go on.
Right.
You got some more on that.
Yeah, so it says, all of the nuclear facilities, Los Alamos, Livermore, Sandia, Savannah River, all had dramatic incidents where these unknown craft appeared over the facilities and nobody knew where they were from or what they were doing there, says investigative journalist George Knapp, who has studied the UAP nuclear connection for more than 30 years.
And yet and still they haven't even come close to knowing exactly what the technology that these chariots have.
Yep.
So that shows you right there that they're destined to lose. Because in order for you to win, like I always talk about, you got to know what your enemy is capable of doing.
Yep.
If you don't know what your opponent is capable of doing to you, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Even boxing shows you that. If you watch, like for example, Tyson, what he used to do, he used to study old boxers, you know, the greatest in his time when he was coming up.
Yeah.
So he would study them, and in some cases he would study the guy that he's boxing.
Yeah.
So once you do that, now you got the ups on him. Now you may very well be able to overpower your opponent because you're gonna know his strengths and you're gonna know his weakness. That's how you win in the boxing. But with Esau now, which is the same thing, boxing is just another form of war.
Yeah, it is war.
You know, so they know that eventually they're gonna have to fight the Lord and the chariots.
Yeah.
But they obviously they're not gonna tell us that. They're not gonna tell the world that because people are gonna have to change up and realize that there's a higher power and they had to live to the standards of God, and that's not what they want.
Right.
You know, and it's gonna bug people out.
Yeah.
So let's just keep that confidential to ourselves, knowing that we may have to fight the Lord one day. You know, but they haven't even come to grips with knowing what these things are capable of doing.
Yeah.
So they've already lost. That's why the scripture says that you just read, brother, that the dragon prevailed not.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, because they tried to lie with the Roswell, the reverse technology of the aliens. It's all lies
He's a cute dog, isn't
to deceive the people that they're in control and they know what any threat that's going to come against them. They've already got reverse technology already because they said that they recovered alien and the alien and used the reverse technology so that they've got some kind of chance where if there is aliens out there. But that's all to pacify.
Oh yeah. That's why they made this movie called E.T.
Right.
And other alien-like films. That's just to throw people off and make them believe, oh, that's what's inside those things? Yeah. But really what it is angels that are made that look just like us, that are made in the image of men, dark-skinned men. There was this guy, right, that was sitting down with this woman, and he was being interviewed, old guy, right? The guy was probably like in his 90s, but he was ready to pass on to the spiritual realm. So he explained to this white woman that he was interviewing.
Yeah. Norman Bigren. Yeah. Norman Bigren. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and he said flat out that these things look these people were totally black, like jet black.
And she said dark people.
Dark
he said,
people, yeah.
He
didn't
said
say
that.
aliens. He said dark people.
Yeah, he said black. She said dark people because she wanted to try and make it seem like there was just like some other kind of darkness, but not where black people, as in black. And he said black. He's referring to black people like black people.
Yeah, like they would like you said, brother. He like what he said as well. He said that he saw like these people were super black, like he explained to the woman.
Really black, and then he started shaking in his seat.
Well, this is the interesting thing, and it goes to show why Esau loves to keep us in a down and degradable state.
Yeah.
Because when the world looks at us, they look down at us like, okay, Jake ain't got no technology, ain't got no industries. If Esau was to portray us as having these things, it would be easier for people to make the association. Hang on a minute, the angels look like these people and they have these kind of technologies and powers.
Yes.
That's why it's so hard.